Oh, hey, Nick.
What's up, man? How are you, man?
Hey, good. How's it going?
I'm good, man.
Good. Well, thanks for joining me. How's everything on your end, tech-wise? All good?
Seems to be good, man. I love the Twins hat.
Oh, thanks, man. I thought, I'm in North Dakota and you're from Minnesota, so it's only
Close enough.
appropriate, right?
Close enough.
Yeah. I'm lifelong Twins fan, so and Vikings too, so
Excellent. Well,
for what it's worth. Yeah, for
I'm
what it's
sorry
worth.
about the latter. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Are you into anything besides baseball for Minnesota sports or?
I'm really into the Wild.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Yeah. Just came off of we were um had everybody was on the 14-day COVID
Yes.
protocol.
Oh my
So
God.
they missed their last 6 games or something.
Ugh, yeah. Yikes.
So yeah.
That's one of those things where, you just got to put in the time and try and heal up and go from there. It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know how any live sports are happening, to be honest, and like happening
I mean, I think
successfully.
we need it.
We
We
do,
we
for
need it.
sure.
So
Yeah.
uh, I think in Florida, they're doing like I watched a Panthers game recently, and they're doing like 25% capacity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
Florida, yeah, they
Hey,
shouldn't be doing that, but
yeah.
I don't
Florida out of
know.
all the states should definitely not be doing that at this point. But
Yeah,
leave it to Florida to try something like that, though.
of course. Yeah,
So,
never know.
um, so cool. Well, I guess obviously got a list of questions,
Yeah,
ranging
whatever
from
you
like
do.
career stuff to like just fun stuff. And what I'll do is just kind of do a little intro and kind of welcome you to the show again officially.
Sweet.
So, okay, let's see here. All right, here we go. Welcome to On the Rocks podcast. I'm Nate Callens. Super stoked today to have another very special guest on the show. TV's Nick Peine is with me here today. Oh God, that's
I love that. No, TV's Nick Pine. That's
TV's
great.
Nick Peine. Yeah, I'm gonna do that over because I just tripped on my words. Welcome to On the Rocks podcast. I'm Nate Callens. I'm super stoked to have another very special guest on this week's episode. TV's Nick Peine is here with me today. You know him from AP Bio as Marcus Kasperak, the guy who sits right in the front of the class wearing the most skillfully curated collection of sweater vests on TV today. Nick, welcome to the program. How are you doing today, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I see you've gotten rid of the mustache. What's the story there?
I have. It's kind of, it's a cyclical thing. It'll, when it goes away, it goes away. But then I
Right.
always usually grow the beard out first. And when I
Sure.
get back to the beard, shave the beard, and then I have the mustache for a while, and then it gets,
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, it's got to go too. So
Yeah,
it's,
it's
all
a
runs.
two-step process usually, right?
Exactly.
I thought maybe if you kept it, they'd want you to, shave it before season 4 of AP Bio starts anyway, since they
I
might
talked
not.
to Mike one time about it, and I was like, if you ever want to, if you have any ideas about shooting, like, 20 years in the future, like, let me know early. We
Right.
can knock that out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Last
funny.
year for our very first table read, Glenn was coming off of a movie where he had to have a mustache. So he had a
Hmm.
mustache and bleached hair, and then I
Yes.
had a
Oh my
mustache.
God.
So we have pictures at our first table read with the mustache
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
perfect. Yeah, I saw some stuff on social media. I was figuring it's probably for a movie and not just a weird fashion choice from like the late 90s, with that blonde hair. I will be
Right.
honest though, I did have that hair in the late 90s for a summer, so
I think we all did.
no shame there. So you're from Minnesota, living close proximity to me. I'm in Fargo, North Dakota. Tell me about your childhood a little bit, growing up in the Twin Cities, and kind of remember what do you remember about when you were growing up, and kind of how you got into comedy at such a young age.
Um, well, I started doing comedy because at first I wanted to be an actor in high school. I mean, I did all the plays and I really loved it, but like acting just didn't seem like a job that anybody had. I was like,
Sure.
that's not a job that anybody has. And then also coming from the Twin Cities, there was no blueprint for like even how to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, maybe, you know, and also at the time, like I went to a prep high school, so everything like in my life system was pushing me to have, an academic life and an
Sure.
academic career. And I was like, I guess if I've always been a fan of comedy, and I was like, maybe that'll be a way to sort of keep, that creativity alive while also, going to college and
Sure.
doing that whole thing. And yeah, just I just took to it, and so it went from kind of acting into pretty much all stand up throughout high school and college, and then
Wow.
back again. Here we
Yeah.
are.
That's amazing. So, starting out in comedy, who were some of kind of your role models and idols? I know, obviously Minnesota or Minneapolis in general is a great comedy city with Acme Comedy Club. Nick Swartzen's also from there.
Yeah, I used to open for Nick when I was in
Yeah.
college.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
That's
He used
great.
to, I went to Boston University, and whenever he would come out east to do colleges on the East Coast,
Hmm.
he would ask me to do all the Boston schools. So it
Yeah,
was
to
really
get in
cool.
with him, that's a good person to hitch on to for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, yeah, he was kind of my in to start. I met
yeah.
him when he was 19.
Wow.
Uh, so yeah,
That
it
is
was
so
really
neat.
cool. Yeah.
And he, of course, kind of on the same path as you, starting out so young, getting a special. What was he, like 19, 20 years old
I
when
think
he
he
met?
was 20. Yeah,
God,
that
that's
sounds right.
insane. So, and he's done a million other things since then. Um, so you said you went to kind of a preppy high school, prep school. I know you were a big golfer in high school. What was that like?
Um, it was good. I never, I loved it, but I never totally felt, like all my friends were from the suburbs, and I lived, in
Sure.
the middle of St. Paul.
Okay.
So it was like, um, there was always a disconnect. Like I didn't grow up, super wealthy, but like we had money, but we still didn't have, anything close to like what everybody I went to school with. So
Sure.
like I would go out, my friends' houses in the suburbs and come home and just be super ungrateful.
Yeah.
Do you know what they have at so and so's house? And my parents were like, oh, that's nice.
They have two hot tubs, not
I was
just
like,
one.
can we get a hot tub? And they're like, "Mm."
Oh man. So tell me about your parents. What were they
uh,
like, or what are they like currently? What do they do?
Super cool. I'm, still together. They just celebrated 35 years.
Right on.
Um,
Nice.
they're having, I think, more fun now than they've ever had. Like after I went away, they started spending all this money that I didn't know that we
Sure.
had. And, they rent pre-COVID, they rent a house in Savannah, Georgia every
Oh
winter
wow.
to
Okay.
get
Get out
out
of
of
this
Minnesota. And
BS.
yeah, both retired lawyers just living it up. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
great.
So are you an only child then?
I am, yeah.
So once you got out there, like, let's party, let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go to warm places when it's cold where we're from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like below zero here in Fargo for like
That's
15
what
days in a row.
that's what I'm hearing. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
my,
been pretty
my
brutal. I work from home and I podcast from home, so I don't really go outside too much unless I have to shovel, uh,
right.
as of right now. So it's not too bad, you
My
know.
parents pay a kid in the neighborhood to shovel now. They used
Oh,
to.
nice. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
When I was there, I was doing it a lot.
yeah, you were like the unpaid help. You
Right.
you know you get the room and board and whatever else,
Right.
golf equipment and whatnot.
Yeah, I get to not starve. And
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was watching some of your stand up on YouTube today, some of your stuff from when you were in college. I dug the intro of yours where you'd say like your height and that you weigh like 116.
oh yeah, yeah.
I dig that. And then the
That's
and then the
like 10
following
years old.
punchline after that. Yeah, good stuff. So you got started out in comedy super early.
Of
And
course.
what was it like as far as, AP bio? How did that come along? Did you move out west to try and get
Yeah, I
into
moved.
TV?
Yeah, after I graduated, I worked in an office for a summer to make like a little bit of money, and then I
Sure.
moved to LA September of 2013.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
so you've been out there a handful of years, but not like, not like the 10 plus years that most people say
no,
before they
not
get
quite,
any
not quite.
gigs. I
Right,
remember reading, when Jenna Fisher from The Office got the office, she had been out there for like 10 years, and I think she had given herself like a 10-year window.
right,
She just hit
right.
it. So you were fortunate to hit the window a little sooner.
A little more fortunate than that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Tell me about how your AP Bio audition went. Do you remember it, or was it kind of just a
Yeah,
blur for you?
course. Of course. Well, first I auditioned for Devon was the
Oh
first thing I
yeah.
did.
Okay.
And I got called back for Devon too.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so and then they gave it to 𝗁𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃, and I was like, well, that's the end of that.
Oh sure.
But then they quickly called me back in for this other role, and I
Sure.
did two of those, and then had a screen test
Okay.
for Marcus, and called me like 4 days later, and we're like,
Wow.
yeah.
What was that like? What was your first reaction? What did you go out and do to celebrate?
What did I do?
Or was it kind of
Uh,
unclear as to how long you'd be on the show and um, what your
yeah,
role?
it was my first like gonna be big, full season run of a thing. I can't remember. I probably went to I probably went to like an outlet shoe store and
Sure.
bought some sneakers or something.
Sure. What's your
Yeah.
sneaker of choice?
I've got, I don't know, you probably can't see. I've got stacks and boxes.
Oh, nice.
Right now I'm really into these guys. These are like these old
Oh, yes.
Nike low tops.
Yes. Those
I've
are
got
sweet.
another, yeah, and I like them when they get like a little bit dirty and look kind of old.
Yeah, I dig
I've got,
those. I dig the Nike Blazers too, like the high top versions.
yeah, I
Those are
got two
sweet
pairs
too.
of Blazers.
Yeah,
They
nice.
kind of hurt my ankles, but I love the way they look.
They look so cool. Just
Yeah.
super 70s. Yeah, I love the old Nike. Oh, the Cortezes, of course, are great. I'm really into Vans too. Like I like to get kind of wild print stuff from Vans. There you go.
I know.
Classic. Yeah, man, right on. Yeah, sneakers. I have way too many. I actually I just interviewed Allison Snyder, your wonderful, lovely co-star, Heather on AP Bio, as you know, as my listeners hopefully know.
She's
Um,
the,
she she is awesome, and she this is
I
the
was in a wedding.
you were. She told me that. That's incredible. And who else was in it? She told me there
Jake
was. Yes, yes, yep. That's the other one.
Victor was in it. Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing how she and I connected at first. I follow her on Twitter. I sell a lot of stuff and buy too much stuff on Poshmark and Mercari, the
Mm-hmm.
resale sites. It's where I get like all my Vans and all my sneakers and stuff. And I was going through to try and like connect to contacts of mine that I have on Twitter on Poshmark, and I was like, Allison Snyder. I'm like, holy crap, that's the Allison Snyder from AP Bio. So I just
Yeah.
like commented on her closet and I was like, hey, my wife and I love your show. Would you be interested in doing my podcast? And I think she emailed me or messaged me back like 6 days later because she couldn't figure out like where the message had went. And I was like, getting kind of worried. And I'm like, oh, she probably isn't going to write back, but she totally did. And she gave me her email and followed me on Twitter. And we did a 2 hour long interview last week. But I won't put you through the whole 2 hours today.
Whenever you need, man.
Yeah, but I just thought it was kind of fun, like just a non-traditional way to connect with someone on a TV show. Just
She's really great about that stuff, about engaging with fans, and of course, she's a Disney kid, so she's got
yeah,
a way bigger fan base.
just
So.
such a wide range of people. Like we were talking about how I asked her kind of how people recognize her, and she said that kids come up and just basically tackle her and hug her in a
Yeah,
non-pandemic time, of course, but
right.
And then adults kind of like look her up and down, like I think that's her, and then they kind of like just do a nod or something like that. Just kind of interesting to see how people react. Um, I'm sure you get recognized out in public too, because you aside from the sweater vests, I'm guessing you don't wear those all the time, but you look pretty much just like your character Marcus. Um,
Yeah, most of the time. It depends on like what my facial hair situation is at the time.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, and obviously not as much as her, but yeah, in non-pandemic times, it was maybe once every week or so,
sure,
which is
enough.
just enough.
Yeah,
I think that's perfect.
yeah, enough where it's not like you're getting mobbed all the time. I feel like that'd be a weird burden to have, just being so famous that you can't even go out and do anything.
Right, but it's just enough where I'm feeling bad about myself, and
And then you get a
like,
little,
yeah,
yeah, get a little boost from someone recognizing you. That's got to be pretty cool. Uh,
yeah.
so how much are you like your character Marcus on AP Bio? I know a lot
I
of
hope
people.
not much. I hope not much.
Thank
Uh,
God, right?
I don't know. I think there's probably a little Marcus in all of us, as much as we don't
Right.
want there to be. I think all of us at some point have that inclination every once in a while to be like, don't you think you should probably, don't you think that's probably not?
Right. There's a little Marcus in all of us. That's your tagline.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately.
uh, yeah, I mean, you get a lot of shit on that show from everyone. God, I
You
always feel
need
bad
that
for you.
guy, though.
What's
No, you
that?
need that.
You
You
do.
need
Yeah.
that, though.
Yeah. You have to
There
have
needs
a
to be that
whipping.
guy that gets mercilessly uh, beat up on without the audience ever feeling too bad about it.
Yes, just enough. I mean, there's a Marcus Burn book, for God's sakes. Heather
Yeah.
has the Burn book. So it's
Yeah.
well established that you're just gonna get a lot of shit from people.
Yeah. That was
So
that was a new thing last year, the
yeah,
burn book.
I dig that. So do you ever wear a sweater vest and tie out in public and just kind of hope for the best? Try and get recognized more?
I don't. I probably should. I don't think I own any sweater vests, but I should probably.
I mean, wardrobe doesn't need to get all those back. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Those are actually like they get when they were first putting all that stuff together. Our costume designer went out and just was going to like all vintage shops,
Oh yeah,
buying all these old. So some of those things are actually kind of fragile and they have holes in them and they
oh
need
yeah,
repair all the time.
for sure.
So,
I bet. Yeah, depending on what type of action the scene calls for, I guess, right?
which with Marcus, it tends to be some.
It's just, yeah, it's all over the map, you know. It's
Yeah, I tend to get a lot of like the physical,
yeah, like the tennis scene in the hallway.
right,
My
and the
God.
cocaine and
Yeah.
um.
They really
There's a
put you
scene
through it.
that got cut. I don't know if you saw it on. I put it on Instagram. There was a scene that got cut this year from that where I had to
Oh yeah.
wear a Daisy Dukes and a tool belt.
That's so good. I
Yeah,
did see that.
yeah.
Anytime you have to wear Daisy Dukes, you just don't know where the rest of your day is gonna go, right?
Yeah, it's always fun too. Like when it's not fun, but it's like when they were. It's funny when they're fitting me. They have like like 7 pairs Daisy Dukes, and they're like different
Oh my
shades of
God.
blue, and they're like different lengths, and like you got to try all of them on, and
Right.
yeah,
You're a Daisy Dukes expert by the time you're done.
yeah, yeah.
Never knew you'd have to be that, but you made it work out.
If it pays,
Yeah, right, as long as they're still paying you. So
I got no shame when it comes to any physical, like
I
you
feel
can't.
like that's, I feel like there's not a lot of real good physical comedians anymore, so it's good you're keeping that alive. Now, do you get inspiration from anyone when it comes to the physical kind of stuff and like pratfalls and things like that? Like, do you have anyone that you kind of look to for inspiration on that kind of stuff?
Not really. I just think about like what would be the funniest looking thing, and then
Right.
just try to do that. I don't know. I'm really have kind of a slight frame. I'm
Sure.
pretty
Right.
lanky, so when they always try to put me in stuff that accentuates that, so anytime you can, just lean into that,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Just kind of go for it.
yeah. I mean, there's no reason. As long as it's funny, that's the most important thing
Yeah.
to me. Like,
Yeah. The great thing about physical comedy, I feel like, is in order, being able to be funny without saying anything. And like if someone has the volume turned down on their TV when they're watching a show, if they muted it and they see something, to still be able to get a laugh. I
right.
feel like that's the true test, obviously, of physical comedy. I feel like that's one thing that you're really great at. So kudos to you,
Thanks.
man. Yeah, of
By
course.
the way, the tennis ball thing was a mostly stunt guy.
Oh, okay. So they
Is
didn't
that well?
fully.
I took a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
like that whole week leading up to it, I was super cocky about it. I went into the director's office and I was like, "Look, man, I don't want to stunt man. I'm going to do this whole thing." And they were like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." Also, like, good luck finding a stunt man who looks like me. They're like, "All right, if you want to." And
Right.
then the next day I was like, I got it. And they were like, "Well, we got a guy here just in case." I was like, "Well, you can send him home. You're paying him for nothing. You're wasting your money." And then
Right.
I took one hit on the 10. I was like, I'm done. I don't
Yeah.
want to do this.
No more of that. That whole episode's great. That scene is just hilarious. And so yeah, nicely done. So have you ever gotten hurt on set before? I know you've been on a good variety of things.
On any set?
Yeah, just anything you've done.
I don't. Nothing's coming to mind. I'm sure I've gotten like little nicks and bruises.
Right.
Oh, I hurt my head a little bit. There's one episode in season 2 where he's like he says like Marcus face down, and I just like slam my head on the desk.
Yep.
We did that a bunch of times, and
Oh,
I asked for some Advil, but
yeah.
I wanted to make sure that it made a noise. It's like I don't care what it
Right.
feels like, as long
Yeah.
as the noise is what's funny,
The
that
noise.
clunk.
Yep. You have to get
So
that. You don't want to have to add that in later or hit it while you hit it with your fist while you hit it with your head.
right,
An old trick from grade school used to do, but
right.
that's a whole different thing. So tell me how you got Office Christmas Party. Like what was that like? Working with a lot of really big names like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I went in. It's a casting office that I've been to, dozens of times, so they
Sure.
knew they were familiar with me, and I don't know, just went in and did one scene, and then yeah, I it was that movie's got like 20 principals, and I was
Yeah,
like, like 19 or 20
sure.
out of the 20 print. So
Just made the
I
cut. That's
barely
good.
squeaked that. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'll take it.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a great movie. It's a fun one. And obviously you're good in it too.
Thanks, man.
So
Yeah, no, it was good. They were very good to me on that movie.
yeah.
We had a ton of fun.
So I was listening to, I don't remember if it was a different podcast or something where you were doing stand up, but talking about one of your first auditions when you got there. What did you do when you got to your first
Uh,
audition?
oh yeah, you must have heard Ron
It
Funch's
was the
podcast.
Funches. Yeah, I was going to say I listened to Ron Funches podcast.
Yeah, yeah, and it was actually that was the same office that did Office Christmas Party. I went in.
Perfect.
I just moved to LA like a month ago, and I had never done an audition. I didn't know so my manager calls me. He goes, "You got to be here at this time." I was season 1 is Silicon Valley,
Right.
and if people don't know, the protocol for going into auditions is like you walk in, there's a sign-in sheet, you write your name, you sit down, and you just wait. I didn't know that. I didn't know how that worked. So I walked in, and there's a bunch of people in there. There's
Right.
other people waiting to go in. There's staff, and I just announced to the whole office, "I'm here for the audition."
Hand it to me.
I just want everybody to know that that's what I thought they were going to be like, "Oh God, he's here. Hey, he's here."
Stop
No.
everything. Nick's here.
They were like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and write your name and sit down."
And then you have to sit there in that moment, just sit in that, like just, percolating in that moment,
Yep.
um, with all sorts of other people
Yep.
around you. So that
Yep.
must have been really fun.
Yep.
Just
I did not get that job, by the way.
right. Your face just gets hot and red, and then you have to just kind of wait it out.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It's funny. I mean,
it's a great story though.
yeah, but like I didn't know. Like, what do you?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Oh.
like you go to the dentist's office. I'm here for my appointment. You tell them that there,
I'm
why
here for
wouldn't
the
you?
root canal. Yeah.
I'm the guy. I'm Nick.
I'm the guy.
Oh man, I got such a huge kick out of that. That was great. So yeah, Funches, man, he is just one of those guys where he just seems like he's the coolest
The
guy.
next- Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the sweetest men that I've ever met. He's great.
Yeah, he just seems like a sweetheart. I mean, I've been a fan of him for quite a while too. I know you have as
Same.
well. I saw Brian Posehn at the Fargo Theater. God, it was probably 6, 7, 8 years ago now. Brian Posehn did the Fargo Theater, and Funches opened, and this was kind of before he had become like who he is now. Obviously, people know him a lot more. And I just remember thinking, like, my God, that guy is so damn funny. And my wife and I actually enjoyed him. And the other opener,
That's what-
𝗵𝗫𝗀𝗍 a little bit more than Posehn. Posehn's style of humor to me, it's like a lot of real nerdy, kind of like science and Star Wars and that type of stuff, which I'm not super into. So I ended
Right.
up, relating more to Funch's brand of humor. And this other dude, 𝗵𝗫𝗍, he is hilarious too. I don't know what he's up to nowadays, but just really great comedians. And I was really excited when Funches started getting a lot more exposure and being cast on a lot of other things. And it's kind of like, wow, I saw him open for someone. It's just neat to see in comedy. Is there any shows
Yeah,
that you saw back in the day, like of his, or you've
Well,
seen?
I met Ron. I don't know. I've told this story on he and I met like years ago
Right.
at
Yes.
just briefly at
Mhm.
Just for Laughs Chicago when I was still in college, and he was still coming up. He hadn't really broken
Right.
into Hollywood yet, but I
Mhm.
already knew who he was and already really liked him, and I was really excited to meet him, and
Yeah.
he was really sweet. And then didn't remember that.
No, but at the time it must have been cool for him since he wasn't quite as big, you know,
Right.
that you remembered meeting him who was,
He
just
genuinely
coming up.
appreciated it. He
Yeah.
genuinely appreciated it. So.
Yeah. He seems like the type of dude that appreciates that kind of stuff and, knows where he comes from and knows how hard it is starting out, making your way in comedy. It's really
Right.
cool. So congrats on getting to be on his podcast. That's really cool. And
Thanks, man. He's really an impressive dude. Just his come up story, not
oh yeah,
just his, like having his his autistic son really
right.
young,
Mm-hmm.
and still like grinding his way up and
Yeah.
and being like an awesome dad along the way and figuring it
Mm-hmm.
out, and just it's really great.
Yeah, and like he was saying that he wants to do a sitcom about that. I think that would
I
be
can't wait.
amazing. It'd be
I can't
amazing.
wait.
Yeah, and it'd be so much different too. I mean, I really like the show Atypical on Netflix that deals with autism as well, but it would just be a whole different spin on it that he's a comedian coming up
Right.
as a father of an autistic child. I think
Right.
that the premise would be different enough where it could coexist with Atypical, which is another awesome show. Michael Rappaport is in that one.
I love my
Oh my God. And
Rappaport's the best.
he plays like the wholesome dad in the show.
Which is
So it's just
weird,
kind of
'cause
like,
you follow him on Instagram, he's just out there like being disruptive.
yes, he's ranting and raving about all sorts of stuff with hilarious results.
He's fighting the good fight though.
He is. I love it. Yes, he is fighting for the right things and just his point of view. He just talks a lot of shit, but he makes sense. A lot of people talk shit and just are just talking out of their ass. It's like he knows what he's talking about just enough to.
Have you ever seen the first thing I ever saw him in was, do you remember that movie Metro? Did you ever see that?
Metro? God,
Eddie Murphy.
it sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Eddie Murphy plays a hostage negotiator
Oh my.
in San Francisco, and Rappaport is like a young SWAT team guy who gets transferred into the crisis negotiation unit, and he becomes Eddie's protege. It's really good.
I have to find that. What era would that be? Mid 90s, late 90s?
It'll be later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I remember I really liked him in some of his earlier stuff. Beautiful Girls. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh yeah.
95.
Yep.
That is such a great movie. My wife and I just rewatched that within the last year just because it had been so long since either of us had seen it. And it's just like one of those movies you forget about, but it's super enjoyable. And there's tons of people in it. Like there's just heavy hitters in that movie. But just a really enjoyable film. And he's just great in whatever he does. He's kind of one of those actors that can play kind of any type of part if it needs to be serious or funny or just kind of in between. Just one of those kind of utility players, I feel like, in Hollywood.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And he also comes from like, he was heavy into like the early mid 90s hip hop scene. So he like grew up like knowing Damon Dash and hung out with Tupac and all that. So,
how insane is that to think about? Like just as a young actor and comedian hanging out with all these hip hop juggernauts. And he actually, I haven't seen it and I don't know where you can even watch it anymore, but the Beats, Rhymes, and Life Tribe Called Quest documentary.
Yeah, that he made. Yeah.
Yeah, he did that. Like, I don't remember when that was, but I don't even know if that's even able to be watched anywhere on streaming.
I'm sure you can find it.
I'll probably be able to find it. I should. I love Tribe and I've never actually seen the documentary, but I have to check that out for sure.
And he saved a plane. You know that story, right?
What?
You never heard about this? There was a guy. He was on a flight from New York to LA, and there was a guy who was I think he was mentally ill, and he like was standing up, kind of freaking out, and he tried to open the door like mid-flight, and Rappaport was in first class and tackled the guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then insane. Of course on Instagram he brags about it all the time.
Yeah.
Which is he should. It's funny.
He should. Yeah. That's insane. And I can't believe I have not heard that. How long ago was that? Do you know?
That would have probably 5 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
I don't know how I didn't hear about that. That's incredible.
All over TMZ at the time. Yeah, you just
really.
I a guy was having like, a manic episode. And
Yeah.
just, it wasn't a terrorist, but just was
No.
kind of out of his mind and
Yeah.
just tried to open the door and Rappaport.
Thank God he did. Well,
Yeah.
thank God he even saw it happening. That would probably happen so fast it'd be hard to even react,
Right.
My God. That's
And so then he talks about it on Instagram all the time. He's like, hero's gonna hero.
Just doing hero stuff, man.
Yep.
That's great.
So, I'm glad you like Rappaport. He's
man, Rapp is such a cool guy. He's just, and I love when he's a guest on people's podcasts too. He's always just
should have him on this, man. I bet he would.
Do you think he would? My God.
I mean, I don't like if I had any. I don't know him. I never.
Yeah.
But like.
Right. I mean, it
I don't
wouldn't
know.
hurt to ask.
I have a Twitter. I have a Twitter check mark. Like I could probably tweet at him and be like, "Hey, man."
Say that you appeared on the pod, and then that Rappaport should also.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, it never hurts to reach out. You just never know. Like when I reached out to Allison, I didn't know if she'd even reply at all to my weird message on Poshmark, but she did eventually.
That's the thing. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes people are way more willing to than you think they would be.
Yeah.
So.
And then she vouched for me to you, when I quoted her in the email to you, and it ended up working. And here we are. I'm glad you're joining me right now.
She was a lot nicer. I'm sure she said it nicer to you than she did to me. She called me and she's like, "Hey, I know that you're a piece of garbage cockroach who doesn't go outside, has nothing to do. You want to go on a podcast?"
Right. So she did call you about it?
She did, yeah.
That is amazing. That's awesome. Well, Allison, shout out to you. You're awesome. Thank you for getting Nick on the podcast.
Hey, Allison, I hate you.
She said she made it seem like, you were just like a sad, lonely bastard. And I didn't do it just because I feel sorry for you. I really wanted to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate it. But she was like, "Know that you're sad and lonely and have nobody to talk to." So
that's how she and I are different, I guess. I mean, we had a lot in common except for that when we talked. So.
Yeah, you're a lot sweeter than she is.
Well, thank you. She was sweet to me, so I can't say she's not sweet.
Oh, of course, she's sweet to strangers.
Yeah. I mean, if I get to know her a little better, you never know if she might give me a hard time. I don't know.
That's how you know that she loves you, though.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you're aiming for, is to get razzed by her. If she has time for it. She's got a million things going on, even during the pandemic. It's kind of crazy. Just like
I don't know what finds the energy.
30 social media accounts, and like she's doing the Astrid Clover stuff. Has been forever. Yeah. All of her art. Yeah. It's just I don't know how she finds the time to do podcasts.
I have three of her originals in my house.
Nice. I've got to still order before the month is over to get the first of all the discount, and then she's stacking on top of that. She's donating to the American Heart Association too. So that'll.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know she was.
Yeah. So through February, if you buy.
She did a couple earlier in the year to different things. She did the poker project 1 month.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. She's just a good person, and her art's really cool and just out there, and which I dig. So I've got to look at her Etsy shop again and pick some stuff out. So are you like an artistic person when it comes to?
No, visual. No,
visual stuff. No,
not a chance.
You're into the acting thing and the physical comedy, and that's an art
too.
Performance
art is way more my
performance is your thing. Right on. So I was super excited, which I know obviously you and the rest of the cast were, that AP Bio is coming back for a 4th season that was announced in December. How did you find out? How did you find out about that? Congratulations, first of all, on that. That's so amazing. I was so happy when you guys got picked up on Peacock too. My wife and I both just love the show, and we were super stoked for all you guys. So how did you find out that you guys got picked up for the 4th season?
Yeah, Peacock's been good.
Yeah, Peacock is really cool. I dig it.
On Twitter.
Yeah. That's what Allison said too. Like they don't officially like release a statement to you guys or anything.
No, nobody called me.
Just to get like extra or TMZ or something. It's like, hey, it got renewed, and you guys are like, what?
Yeah, no, I guess I was like, we just checked Twitter and we're like, all right, I guess we're not going to be home yet.
Yeah. Round everybody up. Let's do this. That's great.
Couple weeks, man. About 2.5 weeks. We're starting.
Yeah, I was just going to ask where we're at on that. So shooting starts in 2.5 weeks.
Which will be my first time back to work since.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Last March. Yeah.
an insane year. It's weird with the way the pandemic has gone. It feels like it's been going fast, but then it's also like, oh my God, it's almost been a year.
Right.
Like, how insane is that? We've all just been at home. All the people that care, that is, have just been at home doing what we can. So I'm guessing you're really looking forward to coming back. Have they kind of told you what it's going to be like? Do you guys have any idea, like protocol and all that type of stuff?
No, I mean, we just trust that, they seem, the TV and film industry they've seemed to figure it out as best
Hmm.
they can. They seem to have a system that works. I haven't experienced it yet,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. You just gotta trust that that works, and yeah, and it's time too. It's been
Yeah.
we got to
Yeah. And you guys will be getting, the rapid tests and all that stuff too to keep it
a couple
even
times a week.
safer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know, working from home, my wife and I, we record, this is so dorky, but we record The Price is Right and just watch it during lunch. And they completely redesigned The Price is Right set, and they don't have an audience anymore. And they just come out from behind the stage and they have like podiums. And so if The Price is Right can make it work, I mean, pretty
yeah.
much anyone can. That's a really active show and there's people everywhere normally. And it's kind of
Right.
weird. Once you watch it a couple times, you don't even really realize like, oh shit, there's not a studio audience. It just kind of, they keep the shots, tight, and they keep people far apart, and they
I've noticed
just
that with sports too.
yeah,
After there's no crowd, hasn't been a blaringly obvious.
right. The
It's
first
just
couple times watching the Twins, it was kind of weird, but then it's like you get used to it. And then they show like clips of old games, and you're like, oh damn, there are so many people in the
way different.
stadium.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
trippy to see. um how do you think the Twins are gonna do this year? You think they've got all the pieces coming back that they need?
I mean, I never have faith in any Minnesota team until I
Yeah.
see it. I feel like Minnesota teams always look great on paper every year,
Yes. Yep,
and then
they
they
do.
just can't put it all together.
It's just one of those frustrations, like especially with my Vikings, man. God, every season. I mean, the last few, it's just been like I have no expectations, so I haven't been as disappointed. But the
Mhm.
years where I've gotten my hopes up, it's just like just to get them dashed by like a missed field goal or something ridiculous.
2017,
Yeah. Oh my God. So sad. Just ridiculous.
after the miracle, you're like, okay, this might
You're
be
like,
it.
this is it, you guys. After,
Yeah.
I mean, I was knee deep in the Vikings back in '98 when Gary Anderson missed the field goal and they didn't go to the Super Bowl that year. And that was ever since then, it's like, God, that was the year.
Hmm.
Randy
Oh yeah,
Moss, Jake Reed, Chris Carter, and all those guys, just like a freaking dream team.
yeah.
If we didn't make it that year, it's going to be hard to make it in the future. So,
Well, I
um,
remember watching. It was my freshman year of college, watching. Would have been the 2010
oh,
NFC
yep,
Championship
hmm,
with
yep.
Favre
Oh
against
my
the
God,
Saints. Yeah.
the Dirty Saints, man, they were out to get him.
Well, then they got theirs a couple years ago,
Oh
which was
yes, yes. Oh my
impressive.
God, that 2009, 2010 season was fun until that game. Let's just put it
Right.
that way.
I remember watching that from the dining hall
Oh
in
sure, yep.
Boston. Like, I can't.
Ah,
I
just
can't with it.
brutal that they just basically like sent a hitman out on him on the field to
Yeah.
get after him. Just dirty, the dirty Saints. It was not very saintly of them to act like that.
Not at all.
Not
They're
at
all
all.
going to hell.
Yeah. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy? I know you're active online quite a bit. Like you hitting people up on Tinder or what's going
Yeah, I mean, I've been out there on the apps
on the
trying
scene?
to. I mean, it's kind of, that's sort of what the landscape is now. You
Right.
can't really meet people otherwise. So
Hmm.
yeah, the apps. I don't. I, I'm very aware of what I bring to the table, especially on a platform where you're being judged. You got 2 seconds to
Sure.
be judged on your
Right.
face, especially in a town like LA.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God. Yeah.
understand going in that, like, Bumble and Tinder just aren't my um forte. Like, it's
Aren't
just
really.
not
Yeah.
gonna be. I don't take
Yep.
that personally.
No,
My charm is based on personal interaction.
for sure. Oh,
And
definitely.
so yeah, I'm like, so it's few and far between.
Yeah.
But yeah, that a lot of, FaceTiming with
Hmm.
people, a lot of naps, a lot of
Yeah.
video
Naps.
games, a lot of reading, lot of online poker,
Oh yes, yes.
a lot of
How have you been doing with online poker?
fine. I mean, I'm not
Mm.
out to make money. I just,
Sure.
if it eats up 6 hours, that's kind of all I'm looking for.
Right.
So I'll
Definitely.
enter these, $3 tournaments that take, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that ate up today. That's good. That's all we need.
Yeah. That was my work day. Did
Yeah.
my poker work.
Yep.
Very cool. So, obviously we've been in quarantine a lot, and you've been doing a lot of online stuff. What I'm asking the questions that matter here, Nick. What's your favorite quarantine snack besides cigars and jerky?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. God, that was years ago.
Hmm.
Um,
I did my homework. I mean,
I
obviously, I
like
love you
it.
on the show, but I wanted to get some more background and stuff, so I watched.
You're like Nardwar.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, what have I been into recently? I ordered a couple months ago. I ordered like a 7-pound bag of Albany's gummy bears.
Oh, dude, those are the best gummy bears.
Best
What?
ones by
The
far.
best. I love
Yeah.
those. Oh my God. Yeah, my wife and I get those all the time.
It
We're
was like
big in,
20, if you but you can buy them in bulk. It was like
yeah,
$20 for 7 pounds.
my God. So good. And you go through it way faster than you think you're going to, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Albanese, hands down, best gummy. Best gummy candies in general, whatever shape you take them in. I
It's
feel
not
like
even a question.
not
Yeah.
even close. Yeah, we just got a big freaking like tube of jelly bellies the other day. Or it's the generic
That'll
jelly bellies, I think. So they're not like $1 million for the big tub of them, but those will go too fast as well.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
those things. So you
But then
mentioned,
you gotta, I'm always like, I should not be. But then you're like, yes, but
yeah, why
everything,
not? It's they're
nothing's
not
real
bad.
anymore. It's fine.
Yeah, nothing's real. Nothing's real. We're just living in this weird hellscape indoors. I don't mind being indoors. I feel like I've become more, well, since met my wife. We met on Match, by the way. I had decent beginner's luck on Match.
I've
Um,
I've been on a couple. I haven't used. I used Match like when I first moved to LA because Match
sure.
was bigger then.
Yeah. Yep. They
Uh,
were, until all the other apps came out. I mean, it was them and like eHarmony that were the heavy hitters.
yeah, yeah.
How did that go for you? Did you have much luck on there?
On Match, I went on a
Yeah.
couple dates on Match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Very cool.
Um, but I felt like Match. It just seemed like it was a little bit for the older set. It was like
Mhm.
people who kind of mid late 30s been
Yep.
divorced.
Right.
Seemed that was sort of
Hmm.
their space more so.
Yeah, that makes sense. People looking for more of like a partner, like a long term type of thing.
Right.
And that makes sense because when I met my wife, I was actually your age, exactly your age, I think. You're 30. You just turned 30, right?
I just turned 30. Yeah.
The dirty 30. Yeah.
30. I love it. By the
Welcome to
way,
the 30s.
I love it.
Yeah, man. It They say things get better, as you get older, and I feel like it's pretty true. You just,
I think so.
you make all the mistakes when you're younger, hopefully, and then you learn from them and move on, and you
Also,
get
you
that
just
life
stop
experience.
caring. You're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I know exactly who I am
Yep.
and what I like, and I don't,
Just do
I'm
your
not
thing.
finding myself. Yeah, just
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. You get all that other crap out of the way, and then you're like a grown ass adult, and
Yeah.
just do whatever you like. Like buy Albanese 7-pound bags of gummies. That's the kind of stuff you get to do.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about it, Mom? I'm in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, mom. Come on. You can't send me to my room. I'm already in my room at my place.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have been doing a lot of online stuff and playing cards and reading. What type of shows? I know you must have a little time to watch some shows. What shows have you been binging the last year or so? Like, what have you been into?
Recently, I've been rewatching all of Reno 911 on
Oh
HBO.
God, dude, I
It's
gotta
the
do
entire
that.
series on HBO. Yeah.
It's been so long, and honestly, I don't even know if I knew that was on HBO for sure. I knew it was somewhere, but I didn't know where. But my God, that show.
It was on Netflix years ago,
That's what I
and
thought. And
then
that's why I was confused. I'm like, oh God, I thought it was on Netflix, but that was so long ago. But that
right,
show,
and then it was
man,
off anywhere. You couldn't find it for a
right.
while, and then now
That's good to know
it was
because
brilliant.
that show is genius. Just that whole crew of people are just the best. And just like
the
just
best.
looking back at who's all on that show and now is still working and they're bigger than ever. It's just really fun to see that. It's kind of
And
the
also the company that I'm represented by for management represents all those guys too.
oh,
So it's
perfect.
like, yeah,
That's really
it's
cool.
yeah.
That's neat.
So they've got like at the office, they've got like all the original like season 1 sign posters. It's,
Oh, nice. That's incredible. Yeah, that
and I've
whole
met those
crew.
guys at like the company Christmas parties and stuff.
Oh,
It's really, they're awesome.
that's amazing. They just
They're
seem like
awesome.
such a cool group of people. Um, I love watching the Goldbergs too. Like, so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wendy is just awesome
Wendy's
on that
great.
show. My God. So good. And then of course Swartzen on there too, and his little Daisy Dukes and
Brilliant.
skates.
He's one of the
So
most
brilliant.
brilliant characters of
Terry.
all time. Yeah. He was
Dude,
like the only perp too that went from the beginning all the way through.
that's
He
true.
was in every season,
He
yeah.
was like the reoccurring perp. So good. You
For the
wonder,
whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, you wonder what the plan was for him initially, and then he became like a fan favorite and just got to stay around.
The story he told me was that like I mean, he had been old friends with Tom and Ben and
Yeah.
Carrie who created it.
Mhm.
And
Oh God, Carrie Kinney.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
And
good.
then apparently they just called him up and were like, hey, we got this show. It's gonna get canceled right away, but we need
We need you.
the rest, like whatever you want to do.
Oh my
And then
God.
he just came up with that. And he had, I guess, those roller skates he'd gotten as like a gag gift that year.
No.
And he
Really?
grabbed him. He's like, I'm gonna do. And then
And it was
yeah, and
perfect.
6 seasons and a movie later. Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
God, man, I gotta watch that this weekend. That sounds too fun to go back and watch it. Because I remember watching it when it was new and then not being able to watch it again after that. Maybe catch reruns every once in a while, but that was, 17, 18 years ago already when it started, which is
Right.
mind blowing to me,
Yeah.
you know?
2003,
Yeah,
2004.
2003, I think it was. Yeah. It's crazy. It's one of those shows though that I feel like it probably held up from what I remember about it.
It definitely held up. And also, like, you watch it now and you're like, wow, they were really towing the line too.
Oh
Big
yeah,
time.
for sure. They were
Yeah.
really testing the boundaries,
Brilliant.
which made it that much better, One of those things
Brilliant.
you got to do. I feel like it's good for your show being on Peacock now. You guys can do a little more. Has it been like a
Yeah.
noticeable shift for you?
Not really. And I think that was smart. I think Mike O'Brien realized even though all the restrictions are gone,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean you should do that. I
Right.
think he realized that for us, making it crazy and raunchy would sort of kill what people like about it,
Right.
and
That
would
makes
sort of
sense.
kill
The
the
vibe of the
charm
show.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was all, yeah, like, cursing and, meth and
Right.
crazy, it would kind of,
Whores.
yeah, it would kind of kill it a little bit.
I think it would. And the show just has such an endearing quality to it, the way it is. And I feel like going too far astray from that it would be, not beneficial to do that.
Right.
Um,
I mean, but we have, as you can see, I think
right.
there is a noticeable shift from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
We sort of step a little bit further, but not,
Mhm.
we
Just far enough.
just far enough. We
Yeah.
toe that line. Yeah, there's just a few more F bombs and
Yeah.
S bombs, but other than
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. And I mean, who doesn't like a good F bomb and S bomb once in a while? Let's not get it
right.
twisted here.
Yeah, if you use it sparingly, the impact
Oh
will
yeah.
be
See, that's the thing. It doesn't get watered down when you use it so much, or when you use it less, it doesn't get watered down, which is good. So you got to choose them wisely.
right, right,
So we talked about a little bit about TV
right.
shows.
They also realize
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
that they also realize that bleeps are funny.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like bleeps, using bleep is funny.
Yes. It gets your attention.
That's sometimes even funny. Yeah,
Sometimes that's all you
yeah,
need. Um,
yeah,
I forgot to ask you the question about AP Bio since we're coming back to that.
yeah.
What did you like when you first came on the set? Like, what did you know of Glenn Howerton and Patton Oswalt and Paula Pell.
Well, Pat and because I come from stand-up, had been fans
Right.
for a year. That
Yeah.
was a dream come true. And
Yeah.
and now
Oh my
that
God.
we're friends, he's just, I mean,
That's got to
couldn't
be
be a better
insane.
guy.
Is that just like the trippiest thing that you're friends with Patton Oswalt?
Yeah. And also he and I kind of, like with Ron, sort of connected instantly, because anytime you meet somebody else who started doing stand-up, there's sort of an instant meeting of the minds, because
Oh, for sure.
you know the unique world that each other comes from.
You have that in
So
common.
yeah, you know where each other have been more so than everybody else.
Right. It's
You
kind
know?
of like a brotherhood and sisterhood of people that have
Right.
all been through the same type of struggles, I would imagine.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. So,
So that's
were you-
great.
so
Glenn,
were you,
I certainly knew who he was, but I had
yeah,
never been a fan of Sonny.
sure.
Um,
So, so you were kind of coming in just knowing of him and not knowing a ton of what he's done. So,
right, right.
and
And
I know,
he's brilliant.
yeah, he's got to be one of those guys who I know Allison was saying that he and Patton are very different people, but they're both just total sweethearts.
Yes.
Is that
They have a different way of showing their sweetness, but their
right?
sweetness is equal. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say
And
that's
she was saying like Glenn's kind of a more one-on-one type of guy, and Patton's just
yeah.
kind of like the big little bit bigger groups and kind of life of
Yes.
the party type guy.
Patton's life of the party and
Yeah.
Teddy Bear, and then
Yeah.
Glenn will be like sort of quieter, but then if you get him on his own, you walk away after 3-hour conversation on something like, wow, that's really, like, we've talked about, he's opened up to me about, like, you know, relationships and
Oh, wow.
fatherhood and like
Wow.
you know, how to, you know, navigating you know, relationships at different stages of your life, and you know what things, you know, should be important to you,
Yep.
and struggles with, you know, raising a family, and like it's really, so it's that kind of stuff, which
That's
is
cool. And
yeah.
just you're far enough apart in age too where you can kind of look up to him a little more, I would guess.
Right. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
44.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm 41, so he's a little older than me then.
Right.
That's about what I would have guessed for his age too, you know, just kind of knowing how long he's been doing what he's doing with It's Always Sunny, which I know that they just got renewed for like 4 more years, and it's going to be, I think, 17 seasons when that 4 years up.
The longest running, live action comedy of all time on, I think.
It's crazy. It's one of those shows where I've watched a ton of it, and I'd have to go on Netflix and see where the heck I left off, you know, because I just kind of, there's just so many great shows out there, and it's one of those shows I kind of lost track of within the last couple of years, and I need to get back and revisit it because it's just so out there. It's so funny and just
it's weird. I'm hesitant to watch it, not because I don't want to support him, but it's just like Glenn Howerton has come into my life in the opposite way of pretty much everybody else, which is I didn't know any of his work, and then now I know him really well as a person.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like going backwards might not change anything, but I'm like, maybe, you know, I have a unique perspective with and relationship with him that most people don't have, and maybe I should just let it be unique in that way.
Sure.
That makes
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be kind of weird since you do know him so well, going back and kind of like seeing him from the beginning of that. I'm trying to think if there's something to compare that to. I don't know if there is.
Yeah.
Interesting. My neighbor, man, my neighbor is this older retired gentleman. He gets out. There's like an eighth of an inch of snow on the driveway. He gets out there with this gas leaf blower in the winter instead of shoveling.
Smart.
Yeah. And so he's like 50 feet from where I'm at right now. Well, at least it wasn't at the beginning of the interview here, like the whole time, you know.
I mean, it's not noticeable from my end.
No, that's good. So. I'm only hearing it because it's in my headphones. You know, I like to make sure I'm not yelling too much into the mic. You're sounding good though, so kudos. You know what the hell you're doing. That helps.
You do one Zoom interview.
Yeah, you've done them all.
Yeah.
So, man, we've talked about TV a little bit. What type
Another
of
show I like that you might like?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I don't even know if you've heard of it. Have you ever heard of Kenny versus Spenny?
I have, but I don't know how I've heard of it or why I've heard of it. Kenny versus Spenny. Is it a cartoon?
No, it's a Canadian
No.
show, a
Okay.
reality show, and it's about two guys who live in a house together, and they just every episode they do a different weird competition against each other.
Oh,
It's a
God.
reality show. It went for 7 seasons. It had a run on Comedy Central in the States in like the mid 2000s,
Okay, that's maybe
but
where I've heard of it.
it's
I
one
don't
of the
know.
weirdest, raunchiest shows. I mean, and the competitions are like who can stay blindfolded the longest, like who can keep a dump in their diapers the longest, who
My
can
God.
who
I
can
wrote
survive in
down.
the woods the longest, who
Oh
can
man.
not first one to touch the ground loses, first one to get a boner loses, like who can stay awake the long, like it's
Oh
the
my
most
God.
weird,
Man, that sounds hilarious.
but
Kenny versus Spenny.
it's all on YouTube too. The
Oh my
entire
God.
series is
Oh,
on
that's
YouTube.
incredible. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I have to check that out. That and Reno, my revisit of Reno 911. That's on my agenda. That's incredible. I love that. Kenny versus Spenny. I will
Kenny
check
versus-
that out for sure. So we talked about sports, we talked about shows. Where are you at on music? Like what's been on your playlists lately?
Let's see. I'll tell you exactly. I go
Oh,
through phases. I was kind of stuck first in quarantine. I kind of had a very, I'm going to deep, but I had a very sort of uh, brief, complicated relationship sort of end very abruptly right before
oh,
quarantine
damn.
started. So I was sort of stuck in like,
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man.
it's okay. It's sort of, yeah. So like I was listening to a lot of like
The Smiths.
whatever you listen
Yeah.
to when that.
Yeah. Breakup
So
music.
yeah. I'm really into a band right now called the Vaccines.
Oh yeah, I know the
British band.
vaccines. Yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah. They're great.
yeah. What else do I have on here? Oh, I'm really into. Do you know about Sweatshop Boys?
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
You know Riz Ahmed,
Oh yeah.
the actor. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's him and another guy,
What?
Indian guy, and it's hip hop duo
Sweatshop Boys.
with no A, SWET, Sweatshop
Okay.
Boys.
A play on the Pet Shop Boys?
Yeah,
Vikings?
something. But it's like it mixes like Bollywood and like UK
Oh.
grime hip hop. It's
Oh
really
wow.
great.
That sounds interesting. I like it.
And Riz is one of those guys who's so. I mean, you see him
He's
on
great.
TV. He's so talented. Well, and he's also like an unreal MC too.
Oh nice.
And like you don't realize until you hear him talk normally, he's like this Cockney guy. You know, he's
Uh-huh.
Pakistani, but British Pakistani. So he's
Okay.
like a
A little different.
great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I've got some Erykah Badu on here, some
Classic.
people, some No Doubt.
Yes. What
Yeah.
era, no doubt. The best
Oh,
era?
classics.
Yeah.
The classics. Yeah.
Yeah. The only era, right?
Don't Speak is one of my favorite songs of all
So
time.
good. Do you
Yeah.
find it weird that she's with Blake Shelton? Do you find it as weird as I do? Is that not
Yes.
the weirdest couple ever?
Yes.
I'm just thinking like
100%.
a ska chick from the 90s. That's how I always view Gwen Stefani.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Always, no matter what kind of other bullshit she does. And then Blake Shelton? What?
And you see the bass player of No Doubt, and they used to be together, and you go,
Yes.
that makes sense. You go, I know that makes total sense.
That made total sense to be with Tony Kanal, for sure.
Yes.
God. But Blake Shelton, so weird. Like you wouldn't have gotten together if you weren't both on The Voice. There's just no way that would have happened. You know, they're not gonna just
Kind of, I don't know.
it's funny to me.
It's cool that like two people who never ever would have crossed paths but for
Yeah.
that,
reality
and then
show.
somehow been massively in love. Like that's cool.
Right.
Yeah, but it is, you're right. It's one of those relationships, and I actually, and like we all have friends or people in our life who we're like, listen, that relationship doesn't affect my life at all.
Right.
And I'm not involved in the intimate details, but it's just weird.
It's
Like it just look at it, I go, oh, what is that? And
yes.
you wonder about the inner workings. You're like, what is
Yeah,
that?
like what? My wife wonders why I'm so obsessed with the fact that they're together. Like I don't give a crap about like Hollywood celebrities, but that's one that just continues to puzzle me. Like
Yeah.
when I see the commercial, I don't know if you've seen the commercial that was during the Super Bowl, um, where Adam Levine's on the phone and his phone's cutting out.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
every time I see that, when we're not fast forwarding through the commercials, I'm like, I still don't know how those guys are together. What the hell? Like Gwen Stefani was a cool like ska chick in the '90s. That's who she'll always be. It's weird.
Is
That's
weird.
my celebrity couple that I just do not approve of, Nick. I don't.
There's
So
always one.
yeah, there is. So little eclectic mix of things in it sounds like Sweatshop Boys and
Yeah, I go through, I think we all, it's, I don't like the question. People are like, what do you like? And everyone's like, well, I like everything. It's like, well,
yeah,
be more, it's what I'll say is I go through phases, and right now, these are the things that I like.
sure. Those are the things you're into. That makes sense.
If you
It's
want
like,
it broader, like the Arctic Monkeys are my favorite
oh,
band,
so good.
start to finish of all time.
Yep, they're
So,
great. I like them. I like the Fratellis too, from kind of that same
yeah.
era.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of all those. I really like the those kind of bands from like
The vaccine too.
yeah, like that mid 2000s to like 2010 or 11. That whole era, just like We Are Scientists, another great one from back
Yes.
then. Trying to
Well, I
think of
know about the vaccines because I saw them open for the Arctic Monkeys.
no way,
Yeah.
really cool.
2011. I saw them when they were
Yeah,
on the Suck It and See circuit.
yeah. Oh God,
And
so good.
the
Yeah,
vaccines
that's
with it. And I was like, who are these guys? These are cool
yeah.
too.
They've got just a great sound. I think I first found those guys on just kind of one of Spotify's kind of curated playlists. Just came up. I'm like, these guys are great.
Right.
Another band I kind of got into that same way is a band called Maximo Park, and I don't remember where they're from. They got a song called "Girls Who Play Guitar." That's just like just a freaking awesome song. Maximo
Or
Park.
the
I don't even
guitar.
know. They're from the UK somewhere.
Of
Just
course
kind
they
of
are.
that same vibe, as the Vaccines and all those type of bands. But yeah, it's fun stuff. Um, there's a band called Editors that's really good too. They're kind of like a more of a moody kind of brooding type of band that I really like. Trying to think.
Glenn Howerton's really into moody, broody stuff too.
Yeah, I believe that.
He
I feel like
loves like he loves like Mac DeMarco,
okay.
and
Yep.
he loves he's friends with Kings of Leon, all of them.
Oh God, crazy,
So
really?
like he's really into like all of their side projects and stuff.
Oh, sure.
And he's really into like all the Kings of Leon songs. Like I love Kings of Leon, but
Yeah.
I like the bangers.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I
Me
like
too.
Use Somebody and Sex on Fire. He likes like the
Mhm.
deep cuts that are
Right.
7 minute
Oh yeah,
deserty.
the
He's like,
jam
oh,
type stuff. That's a
yeah.
band that was just like so big and they just kind of like poof, like you don't hear anything about them anymore. I know they're still together and
It
still around,
just
right?
came out with an LP,
It's
like 3 new
crazy. Like
songs that are good.
yeah, I'm trying to think like the era that I got into them was probably, I mean, you obviously probably know about the current from the cities. That's how I kind of
Sure.
got into, all those type of bands around the 2007, 8, 9 era. And that's kind of when I had first heard Kings of Leon. I'm just like, God, these guys are really good. And I got into them, and then all of a sudden I didn't hear about them after that. It was just kind of one of those things where it was it seemed like it was short lived for a casual fan.
For a casual fan, certainly. The
Yeah,
last full album that they put out in 2016 is fantastic.
really.
Yeah,
Nice. I'll have to take a look at that.
yeah.
Um, being from the cities, did you ever get into the Hold Steady? Craig
I
Finn and the Hold Steady?
tried.
Okay.
Not
Not your style.
didn't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
You're not old enough to be into dad rock yet, I don't think.
not quite.
Not as much.
Although I'm thankful I grew up with a very musical father who took me to a bunch of obscure shows at First Avenue when I was in high
Oh,
school.
nice. That
So
helps.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
really
I
fun.
feel like I was really heavily influenced by my parents too when I was younger. What they were listening to, like we always had on Light Rock 105 here in Fargo, and because of that, my dad didn't really like TV that much when we were kids, and we'd always have the radio, like the stereo on in the living room, and so I got into really, you know, classic 80s bands because of that. Like Huey Lewis and the News is to this day one of my favorite bands just because they've been
Sure.
around forever and like I just have great memories of childhood, growing up with that in the background. And so it's kind of cool how that kind of shaped, who I like as musicians and how, having an influence of a parent to give that to you is kind of a cool thing. So
Oh, really?
it's good that your parents were able to give you that same kind of appreciation for it as well. So
They were really into like the Minneapolis sound, like
yeah,
Prince, Morris Day
yep,
in the time.
yep.
That stuff.
𝗬𝗪𝗘 and all those,
Yep.
all those type of bands too. Yeah. The Minneapolis sound is just it's a whole different thing and just a whole
Yep.
different vibe. It's a good place to be from.
One of the main masks that I wear when I go out is a Prince mask.
Mm, right
Purple.
on. That's awesome. Yeah. Is it written out Prince like the
No, it's purple, and then it's got the symbol, and then it's
okay.
like his face is in the symbol, sort
Oh,
of.
nice. Cool. Where did you find that one?
Amazon.
Perfect.
When masks were when like April, May, when it was like you got to have like one good
Yep.
mask. I was like, okay, well, I gotta find. I was like, I was gonna get a twins one, and then I was
Sure.
like, yeah, but sports is a little. Everybody's gonna have a sports one. I gotta get something
Yeah.
that means something to me, but is like a
Something.
little different. And I found I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that'll work.
No, I dig that. That's really cool. Prince mask, and everyone probably who sees you probably respects the fact that you have a Prince mask.
I do get comments on it.
I
Yeah,
bet. How do you argue with Prince? Can't
I
go
don't think
wrong
you can.
with that. So I just have a few more rapid fire questions here.
Whatever you want to do, man. I am your prisoner for.
Oh, hey. You're locked in. So, on the music thing again, what's the last song you remember having stuck in your head lately, like that you were either singing or humming or just had something in your head?
Um, I'm really also right now into this band called Ghost.
I know of Ghost. I don't know them
They're
well.
they're sort of they're Swedish, and they wear costumes on stage, and they
Hmm.
sort of like it's like a black mask, but it's
Yeah.
like more it's like power pop dressed up as sort of dark metal. You know what I
Dark.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's not heavy music at all. It's
No.
like power pop, but
Yeah, it's
they
kind of like you don't expect the music that they
that
play to
comes
come
out,
out of them.
right.
Yeah. They
They have this
actually
really great power pop, one of their biggest hits called Square Hammer,
okay.
which is a song that I really, really like. So I've
Nice.
sent, yeah.
I'll have to check that one out. I know they played in Fargo here at the Fargo Civic Center 3 or 4
Did
years ago. Yeah, kind of when they were coming up. I didn't see them because I didn't really know who they were at the time, which it sounds like they put on a really great show though, so I probably
They're
should have went to it.
definitely now
Yeah.
they're a band that I gotta see.
Yeah. But yeah, they played the Fargo Civic, so little Fargo. We do actually get not now, of course, but we got a lot of great shows over the last 15 years or so.
I'm
I
sure.
actually worked for a promoter in town called Jade Presents, so I got to go to a lot of shows during that time. Um, just we brought all types of people now that like we had this was probably 5 years ago, but MGK has gotten so big. We had him at a place called Sanctuary Event Center that holds like 600 people, and that was like 4 years ago. Now he's everywhere. It's pretty crazy. Played
Yeah.
SNL and like stadiums and stuff. But it's kind of cool to see. And at the time, I didn't really know much about him, but the person that booked him at the place was pretty excited that they got Machine Gun Kelly. So I didn't really know of him, but now it's like he's huge. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those
Yep.
cool things to see him. If you could have seen him when he was coming up like that.
I always like that when you're like, I saw so and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with comedy, like you saw so and so open for so and so. It's like kind of cool
Yeah.
to have that kind of a little bit of a humble bragging rights to that.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool. So, what was the first CD you bought?
Ooh, great one. Great question.
Thank you.
I remember exactly what it was. It
Yeah.
was One More Time by Britney Spears.
Oh wow, nice.
90 whatever 7.
Yeah. When was that?
98.
Have you watched the Britney Spears documentary yet?
I don't know if I can.
Dude, it's
Is it
weird.
is
It's
it
it's
worth it?
disappointing that her dad is the way he is. The
That's what
whole
I hear, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to
and the
know.
people around her. I mean, I feel like since you're really into music, you'd probably enjoy it. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean that you won't feel really super bad for her, but it's definitely interesting to see kind of the behind the scenes and kind of what all she's been through, and just like she's been through a lot of shit. But it's good. I mean,
I imagine it would
I feel like you'd have to be in the right
pretty
type
heavy.
of, I don't know what type of mood it is, but be almost in the right type of mood for it, where you think you can
Yeah, that
handle it.
sounds right.
It's one of those things like when my wife wanted
Yeah.
to watch it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this right now. But it sucked both of us in and it went super fast. So I'd recommend
What is it on?
eventually seeing it. It is, what was it on? Oh damn, was it on Hulu? No, I don't
That
remember.
sounds right.
I think it is Hulu. I think. I'm 90% sure it's Hulu, but it was good. But yeah, like I said, obviously it's the subject matter is kind of, it's sad, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're in when you're in a kind of a mood, watch it when you're already
Sure.
kind of in a mood.
Okay.
Not when you're
So,
like just like, hey, I'm in a good mood.
right.
One of those
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Britney Spears' first CD, Allison's was Hillary Duff. So kind of that same,
That sounds right.
yeah,
Allison, yeah, she's, a little younger,
yeah. She's a youngin.
a little
Also,
bit of, but what's that?
yeah, she's a youngin. I mean, you
Yeah.
are too compared to me. So
Yeah,
you're,
I guess it's all relative.
it's all relative, yeah. But I thought it was kind of funny. It's Hillary Duff, and then we went on to talk about like Radiohead and bands like that. So her taste
Yeah,
changed quite a
her
bit.
taste has changed for
Yeah,
sure. But yeah, she comes from, does she tell, I mean, she's friends with like all the Disney kids that we all,
yeah,
you might be a little,
yeah.
all the Disney kids that like,
Sure.
I remember she's like, I've seen them at like Halloween parties, like pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, she would throw a
So
big
weird.
Halloween party every year, like rent a
Yeah,
place, like
yeah.
300 people. And
Oh my
you're
God.
like Bella Thorne. She's like, oh yeah, I know.
What?
And like she usually used to invite like Bella Thorne and Demi Lovato, and
That's insane.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's cool. I just saw that Demi Lovato, she when she was going through her thing a couple of years ago, she had, was it 3 strokes and a heart attack?
yeah.
Like that's like, I just heard that today. That was like, holy crap, she's only in her 20s. But obviously she's
Yeah,
had her struggles.
she's been going through it for
Yeah.
sure. That was,
Yeah.
I think that was that was the reason that um Sunny with a Chance became so random.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that
I
don't quote me on, but I think that
I
was one
mean,
of the things.
I just
Yeah.
quoted you on it, so be careful.
I guess it's out there now.
I mean, that would make sense though. I mean, that timeline would probably be about right, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember
Yes.
I was doing a movie in 2016. I was in Albuquerque
Hmm.
doing a movie with Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There for 6 weeks. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember one night I'm in my hotel and one of our executive producers calls me up and he goes, "Hey man, do you want to go backstage tonight and see Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas at the Albuquerque Civic Center?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "No." I was like, "No, that doesn't interest me at all."
No
And I'm
hesitation.
now
No.
I regret. I was like, I should have gone.
Yeah, yeah.
It was awesome. Like I don't,
It
but like just go back, like hang out with them. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where at the time you think, "Oh, I'll have another chance to do something that weird," you know?
Yeah.
You never
And
know.
it was so weird to be like, I'm here, I am like doing a movie with Morgan Freeman, and like I'm
Right?
getting this, this is like a privilege of
Yeah,
the business. And so be like,
yeah.
hey, you want to go backstage and hang out with Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas, who are like two of the biggest stars ever
Oh,
right now? I'm like, no.
gigantic. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, no, that doesn't interest me. I
I
should have just done
don't
it. Like,
want to.
what am I?
I will not do that.
Yeah,
God,
I
that's
should
so
have done it.
funny. I mean, it could happen again, question mark. We just don't know. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I messed up. I should have
Yeah,
gone.
I mean, that was one of your biggest mistakes, Nick, just in general.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Probably. I mean, we're gonna put that down. We're gonna put the pen to paper on that one and say that it is,
It's up there for
at
sure.
least for
It's
now.
up there.
Yeah, I mean, who are you to know at that time though? What's gonna happen after that? You just don't
Well, I
know.
knew. I mean, they were massive at the time, and I was
Yeah,
just like, I'm not.
that's
I
true.
don't like I don't like any of like I don't.
Yeah,
I'm no,
Jonas
like I should have
Brothers.
gone. Like it could have been a
God,
great story.
Nick, I mean,
I don't know.
dude, you should have went. You should have went.
Should have went.
Yes,
I didn't even have to think about it too. Like I said, I was like, no, I don't
no,
want to do that.
I will not go to that. It's funny, like no hesitation.
And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just
Who was it that asked you to go?
one of the executive producers
Oh,
of the
sure.
movie.
Okay.
So
You're
like,
just like,
just
no.
somehow they
Well,
all have
what did
tickets.
you do instead of
He
that?
was a younger guy.
Okay.
I I didn't do anything. I probably went down
Right.
to the rooftop bar at the hotel or watch Netflix. I didn't do. It was way less exciting than it could have been.
You went to a vending machine and got a Snickers and just watched TV.
Something, yeah, something
yeah.
like that.
Just something just really normal, like not hanging out with two huge celebrities.
Not hanging out with Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas. And yeah, and by the way, it wasn't like you want to go to the concert. It was like,
right,
you want to like,
you're gonna
at the concert, like, do you want to go backstage and hang out with them?
You're gonna do the whole thing, the whole backstage thing. You're like,
yeah,
no, not gonna. That is funny. Well,
and
hopefully,
it would have been a whole thing too. Like, this is Nick. He's in town doing a movie, big movie. I don't know if you know Morgan. So like, it wouldn't have been like a fan thing. It would have been like, oh, we're hanging out as like, it's like a hangout night with them.
Yeah, it's a hang. Yeah,
right.
It's a fun hang.
Yeah,
but I mean, at least you got to like do a movie with Morgan Freeman. I mean, just that alone is really cool.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's one of those before and after moments in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
he's just like, wait, I did a movie with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
and then Renee Russo was in that, right?
Yes, she was, and I've been to her house for Thanksgiving every year since.
What the hell? Are you serious?
I mean, not this year, obviously, but
right. Oh my God, that's incredible. She invites you to every year for Thanksgiving.
She and I kind of fell in love with each other platonically immediately.
Wow,
great.
That's really cool. I dig that. I like her. She's great.
She's awesome.
That's cool to know that she's just like, yeah, come over for Thanksgiving. It's cool.
Yeah, and you really do feel like you're in with her. You know, she doesn't let a lot of people into her inner.
Okay, so it's an even bigger thing then. Even bigger
like
deal.
A big deal to get into her world, and she's the best.
That's really cool.
And you know, she's married to Dan Gilroy, who did Nightcrawler.
Oh yeah. Oh,
J. Israel and
wow.
𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 and
yeah, heavy hitter there too. Holy cow.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
He's got a new movie that starting this spring called Faster, Cheaper, Better.
Oh,
it's about automation and automation.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like something like
market.
that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Another one to add to the must-watch list.
Yeah.
Very cool. So speaking of projects, I mean, you were mentioning other people's projects. What have you got in the pipeline? I know obviously AP Bio starting soon. Is there anything else that you know of coming up down the pipe?
I've got lots on the go. Cross your fingers for me is all I can say.
Okay. Oh, all right. I'm crossing them both, man.
Did it. I wish I could say something more exciting.
It's one of those things where it's like,
stuff is still like up in the air and
and you don't want to say on the record that something's happening, then it doesn't happen,
until it's signed in blood. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever that happens to be.
Those are recent development. I mean, I was, been doing nothing, having, nobody's auditioned, until like the last month or so. I've been.
Okay. It's getting a little busier.
Yeah.
Filling up the schedule a little more. Well, cool.
Looking
forward to seeing what that is. And just want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, man. This has been great.
Yeah, it's been super fun for me too. And I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. And
absolutely.
I always appreciate talking music with someone too that has like the same interests in that type of music too. So that's really cool.
100%.
To kind of talk nerdy things like that. Like I don't have a lot of people to talk music about that are into the same stuff as me. Like my friends like music, but it's like they like different stuff, so it's
your
cool.
Wife into the same kind of stuff?
She is to an extent, but she is, I'm such a nerd about music, and she's like, I'm always telling her random facts about stuff that comes on the TV or like on the radio and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to bore her as much because, she likes music, just not as actively as me, I guess you could say.
Right.
Like we when we first started dating, we kind of shared a shared love of like Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, and kind of some of those classic rockers and stuff. So we had that in common right away. And then
doesn't thrill her as much as it does.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't she doesn't like thrive on certain music and stuff. She obviously likes it, but just not in the same type of way as me. I'm a nerd about it, so.
My mom's the same way.
Sure.
My mom's the same way. And I think she feels left out, like that my dad and I get such a thrill out of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like, I like this song,
Why do you like it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like it.
I just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to talk to you and nerd out a little bit about the music and stuff too. Obviously with all the other stuff. But But yeah, man, thanks again. I appreciate it so much, and I appreciate Allison hooking this up, and we'll kind of see
100%.
what else comes down the pipe for you and for the podcast as well. And I'm super looking forward to season 4 of AP Bio, man. Again, congratulations on that and
Thanks, man. Me
everything
too.
else.
To be honest, I haven't seen
Yeah.
script yet, and I don't know what we're doing.
So it's kind of a
But
surprise for you too.
well, here's the thing: we had two scripts that we didn't get to last season.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I got cut short, and
Mm,
those are both fantastic. Whether or not they're going to just use those,
okay.
start us off, or
Cool.
going to use them in this season,
Sure.
I don't know.
Oh, wow. So that would be interesting. Then just that they had two in the can, script
Yeah.
wise, but then never got to shoot them.
That might be part of the reason we got picked up, is because we were under budget, because we got cut short.
Sure.
Also,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
we've got these approved
Hmm.
episodes ready to go.
Just ready to rock. Okay. Hmm. I guess we'll all see at the same time then, huh?
I guess we will. Yeah, but yeah, a couple weeks here, we'll start, and I'm sure you'll see on social media.
Yeah.
She and I both are,
Yeah. Super active.
little pictures here and there. So
Yeah. Well, any last minute plugs you want to do? I mean, we'll be plugging too when I post the episode, but if there's anything you want to plug, like your socials and stuff too, have at it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to, I'm not very good at either of them, so I don't. But like,
I
yeah,
find your Twitter funny.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
I don't. I always feel bad on Twitter because I'm like, I don't like it because I don't feel like I'm very good at it.
sure.
And like sometimes I'll have a tweet where I'm like, this is brilliant, and then like nothing
Nice.
happens, and I
Ah,
get kind of bitter. Like Patton's a guy who just is brilliant with Twitter.
Patton is like the king of Twitter. He,
Right.
it's in like, how would
So
anyone
good.
compete with him? He's so good. Just
Yeah.
a good variety of things, good causes, funny shit. It's just like
Yeah.
no one can compete with him. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So when I'm like, I want to, and then I don't, and I'm like, awful.
Well, I hope you don't hesitate to post certain things just because you don't know if it's funny. Just do it. Just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
no,
you know that. Just to do it and see what happens. Then if it's a dud, it's a dud. If it's not, it's not.
they're pretty much all done. Like I think like 50 likes, and I'm like, that was good. That was
You're
a
like,
good one.
that's good. That's good.
That's a good
Well,
one.
also, I mean, guys like Patton have so many followers too. It's hard to compete. He gets way more likes because of that, just right off the bat. So
I do notice like he'll retweet me on occasion, and then that's
nice.
like 2,000 likes. I'm like, Jesus.
Amazing. Like, now everyone come and follow me because
Yeah.
of that. He's trying to boost you. Now the people have to do their part of it.
I hate social media. I don't know.
It's like a necessary evil, I'd imagine.
That's what I'm starting to find out. I
Yeah.
mean, you could be that guy who's like, screw it. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to use it. Like, I don't like it. I'm not, but
Yeah.
then you're like, you kind of are cheating yourself, because that's just, you're like that old curmudgeon who's
Yeah.
fighting the direction in which the world is marching on.
Right.
Like,
The
I
guy
don't
that
want to be
wouldn't
that guy.
the guy that didn't want computers back in the 80s is that same guy
Exactly.
now who doesn't want Twitter.
Right. You don't want to be that guy. You
Yeah,
just
you don't
gotta
want to be got to embrace it. And especially in your field too. I'm sure everyone expects you to promote stuff. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, that was
you
the
know,
whole reason that, like I probably have like the lowest amount of followers for a verified account on both platforms.
oh, okay.
And that was just like, usually what happens is you blow up independently, and then they're like, all right,
Sure.
verify. Ours was season 1 of AP Bio. The network was like, verified, verified. They just did that for us.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that, if people are
Oh,
like, how do I get verified? Get on TV, and then the
magic.
network or whoever is on that takes care of it.
Yeah, they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool they did that. So, you got that blue check mark, man. That's what it's all
I
about.
mean, the only thing I like about it, it does allow you to interact with other like celebrities that you're fans of more
Right.
easily.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
it's sort of like a license of, I'm not a crazy fan.
Right.
You know,
It's more of like, oh, he's legit. I could talk to him.
exactly. I can talk to him. Yeah, I can
Yeah, I
interact
can.
with him. And he doesn't. He's not a fan who's crazy, or like necessarily
Yeah,
needs or wants
he's
anything
not a
from me.
stalker
So
or anything.
I've been able to, yeah, I've been able to interface with some
Sure.
celebrities a little easier.
That's
That's
pretty
the one
cool.
thing that's
Yeah. That blue check mark does a lot then. That's good.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Congrats on
And
the
also, like, everybody I went to
yeah.
high school with is like, oh, you're
Oh,
now,
now
because that's all they know.
right. Now, yeah, I have to. Yeah. I bet
Yeah.
that was weird.
They think your life is way cooler than it is
Yeah.
when they're like,
I mean, let's be honest, it probably is better than theirs.
Sometimes, sure. Yeah.
Sometimes. That's funny. Well, Nick, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a lot of
Hey, I
fun.
appreciate it. This has been really great.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time, man. I really appreciate you being here, and I'd like to talk to you again, maybe after season 4 comes out, and kind of catch up with you.
100%. I'm
For that.
totally into that. Or
Yeah.
even earlier if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
God, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Reach
We
back
can,
out. I'm never,
yeah,
mid season 4 if you want to know
sure.
what's. I can't probably tell you
Well, right.
exactly. I'm like,
No inside.
what I can do, I'd be like, this is good.
Yeah.
We're doing some good stuff.
You guys are gonna love this.
Yeah.
And we can
I
nerd out about
you're gonna go crazy about it. This is great.
you'll do a teaser without actually telling us much, but I like that. Just knowing that it's gonna be great, and we can nerd out about music more too. So
Absolutely. Would love to, man.
awesome. Well, until next time, Nick, take care of yourself. Stay safe, man. I appreciate you.
You
Talk
too,
to you
buddy.
later.
Stay in touch. I'm around.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll see ya.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye. Well, that was fun, man. I appreciate it.